Okay, you guys, we are here at the Universal Studios 60th anniversary tram tour. This is going to be so cool. Right here is studio tour maps,
one of the tour guides here at the park. Welcome to the
a little bit of
Universal Studios
history of what it used to look like from the 80s to the 90s, 60s to the 70s over there. How cool is that? They have a little film playing. We just saw one of the Glamour tram tours coming up. Okay, so I'm going to be filming as much as I can.
If you need to step out of the queue line, please
It's going to be really cool.
assistance of any of our studio tour ambassadors.
Okay, we're getting on the Glamour tram, you guys. Look at that.
Anniversary
you guys, here we
studio
go.
tour. We are so excited to have you on this lovely night. It really turned out to be such a beautiful evening, and I love seeing all your faces as you get on the tram. We have so much to explore together, and I'm just really excited for the next hour or so. I'm going to be taking you around one of the world's largest and busiest production studios. We've got over 400 acres here at our studio lot, so let me tell you, there is a lot to see, and you're going to see it all. So sit back, relax, and get ready to see Universal Studios. And as you're entering the tram, please make sure to move all the way to the right-hand side, filling in all available seats. We want to make sure that we can fit as many of our friends and family on the tram as possible. And if you have any small children whose feet don't touch the floor, please move them to the center of the tram for their safety. And make sure you have a pair of 3D glasses. You will need those for a few of the elements on our tour today, and I don't want you to miss out. So make sure you have a pair of 3D glasses. If you don't, raise those hands, and one of our studio tour ambassadors will come around and get you a pair of glasses.
It's okay, thank you.
Once again, if you did not receive a pair of glasses, raise those hands. One of our studio tour ambassadors will come around and get you a pair of glasses.
Here, now we got 3 pairs.
Okay, looks like we should be all set. Now we're only going to be sitting here for a few more moments as we board these trams. But tram doors are coming down on the left-hand side, so make sure you watch your hands, arms, feet, and legs as they are coming down. And while we sit here, on the right-hand side, we have a beautiful view of the San Fernando Valley, which we, of course, call home. This is one of the best views of the San Fernando Valley, I think, in all of Los Angeles. So you're really lucky to be able to see this. And you might notice in the distance, we have Warner Brothers Studios. They have some tan sound stages with rounded tops. And then beyond that, we actually have Walt Disney Studios as well. So we are like one big happy studio family here in the San Fernando Valley. We feel very lucky. There's a lot of history here in the valley, so get ready to see even more history as we embark on this studio tour. All right, it looks like we are about to head off, so wave goodbye to all the people in the load line. They're going on their own incredible tours. But for now, you're stuck with me. My name is Kristen, and I will be your studio guide today as we head out onto the lot. And can everyone give a big round of applause to our driver, Robert? Make some noise for Robert, folks. Make some noise, because it is not easy to drive these trams. I bet you can imagine that. There's a lot of tram to handle here. So Robert is going to be here to have some fun with us and keep us safe. And in that vein, I'd like to start with some safety rules. First, if you need guest assistance or have a medical emergency, or if you drop something of value off the side of the tram or have any sound or video issues, reach up and grab that red E-cord that runs along the center of the ceiling of the tram, and I'll be back to assist you as soon as it's safe to do so. Otherwise, during the entire tour, please stay seated, keeping your arms and legs inside the vehicle at all times. Remember to use that red cord above your head if you need any assistance. The studio is private property, and if at any time during the tour you drop your phone or just can't wait to use the restroom, pull that cord and remain seated. And please, no smoking of any kind during the tour. Now be prepared, folks, because our tour today features loud noises, sudden tram movements, fire effects, and many water effects. You'll want to have your cameras out for great photo opportunities, but keep an eye on them so they don't get wet. And finally, for your safety and the safety of those around you, please do not use selfie sticks while you are on board. And as we head down Timeline Hill, I want to invite our Master of Ceremonies to kick off our 60th anniversary tour. You know him as the host of The Tonight Show on NBC. Please welcome Mr. Jimmy Fallon.
Fast and Furious roller coaster is going to be right there.
I'm Jimmy Fallon. Welcome aboard the world-famous studio tour. I know you're thinking, why the time? Well, we're celebrating our 60th anniversary. That's right, 60 years with glitz, glamour, and our own great white shark. As we celebrate our diamond anniversary today, we pay tribute to Universal's past and take you behind the scenes to discover why this studio tour is world famous. So whether this is your
all the
first visit
construction
or
right
your
there.
60th, get ready for fun, excitement, and an experience like no other.
Thank you, Jimmy. And like I said, we call this hill Timeline Hill. On your right, you're looking at our Universal Timeline, which is a selection of our over 10,000 films that we've made in our over 100-year history. And speaking of history, on March 15th, 1915, our founder, Carl Lemley, invited the public into the studio to watch silent movies being made. Guests could walk from set to set and marvel at the new technology involved in filmmaking. But with the invention of sound and the need for quiet on set, the original walking tour ended. In the 1960s, under the leadership of company chairman Lou Wasserman and executives Al Dorskind and Jay Stein, the idea of reviving a studio tour returned when the Gray Line bus tours originating in Hollywood made a stop at our very gates. Then on July 15th, 1964, the first of our red and white candy-striped Glamour trams took 67 passengers on a 2-hour driving tour of the Universal lot, and the world-famous studio tour was born. We started with just 2 drivers, 2 guides, and 1 ticket seller working out of a trailer on Lancashire Boulevard, and from there the studio tour expanded with fantastic one-of-a-kind Hollywood elements like the burning house and the rock slide, which were in this area of the back lot, of the lot, in the 1970s and 80s. Now today, you might have noticed, you are on one of our 60th anniversary Glamour trams. It's one of our super trams, but dressed up in a throwback style. This red and white candy striping was originally created by Harper Goff, a well-known Hollywood art director and set designer who worked on movies like Disney's 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea and Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory for Paramount, and he was known for his fantastical designs. Then in 1983, we upgraded to super trams, allowing us to carry more guests and experience more thrills. And in 2000, we added onboard video, turning the tram into a movie theater on wheels. And in the past 5 years, we've gone electric. So enough of tram history as we make our way into the front lot. The front lot is the first place that I'm going to be taking you today. And the front lot is kind of like the nerve center of our whole operation. You can do it all in the front lot. And there are 3 phases of movie and TV making. It's pre-production, production, and post-production. And you can do all of that right here on the front lot. In particular, let's talk production. On your left-hand side, you're looking at a few of our sound stages. We have 36 on the lot, and most of our 36 sound stages are housed in our front lot. We use sound stages for 80 to 90% of production because they are up to 98% soundproof, which means that we can control all of the elements pretty acutely inside of our sound stages. Then on the right-hand side, we are right behind Super Nintendo World, home to Mario and Luigi, the stars of the biggest film of 2023, the Super Mario Brothers movie. But this is also where, in the 60s and 70s, you could visit the dressing room of comedy legend Lucille Ball, or step into the office of designer Ian Head, or drive through the prop warehouse on the tram. And then by the 1980s, this on the right-hand side was home to the Preview Center, a popular stop on the tour that included our special effects stage. On your left, you're looking at Soundstage 14, and that's behind this base camp that we have here. We have a couple of wardrobe and cast trailers here on the left-hand side because we have a base camp for Bel Air, our Peacock original series that makes its home inside of Soundstage 14. Now, Bel Air is a dramatic reinterpretation of The Fresh Prince of Bel Air, and it stars Jamari Banks as Will and Ollie Charlton as Carlton. And Jamari and Ollie wanted to come out here and talk to you all about what makes Universal so special during our 60th anniversary of the tour.
Leaving the theme park behind and entering the front lot where real Hollywood magic is made. But inside the sound stages that surrounds us, we have a true kind of environment that's really nice.
For the past 60 years, Studio Tour visitors have driven right by these buildings, and inside these walls, it's something your favorite TV shows and movies have transported audiences anywhere the imagination can take you. Even to a palatial mansion in Bel Air.
When we film Bel Air, we love coming out of the sound stages and seeing the trams filled with excited guests as they drive by.
So, keep an eye out. For what?
You see the studio tour.
Thank you, Jamari and Ollie. Now, like I said, you can catch Bel Air on Peacock. And speaking of, on your right-hand side, we are passing some of our most active sound stages home to are from the Peacock original series. For example, stages 16 and 17 are home to Based on a True Story, starring Kaylee Cuoco and Chris Messina. And then 18 and 19 were also home to Killin' It, starring Craig Robinson, who you might know from The Office. And then stage 19 has also been used to film a few scenes from Oppenheimer, which most recently won an Academy Award for Best Picture. That stars Cillian Murphy, Robert Downey Jr., and was of course directed by Christopher Nolan. And on the left-hand side, you're looking at Ted giving us a big teddy bear toast, and that's because he has his very own show on Peacock. You can stream that right now, and that stars and was created by Seth MacFarlane. Now, Ted is standing in front of our production bungalows, which you're seeing on the left. From the 1910s to the 1960s, these served as dressing rooms to the stars such as Lucille Ball, Doris Day, Rock Hudson, Jimmy Stewart, Richard Pryor, Paul Newman. You may know they've been here, but these days they are production bungalows where much of pre-production happens. So everything that happens before we get into a soundstage for production. That could be anything from scripting to storyboarding, casting, wardrobe prep, budgeting, all that jazz. And some of the biggest names in Hollywood have made their homes right here in our production bungalows. For example, we have Amy Pascal and her Pascal Pictures. She's responsible for Spider-Man Into and Across the Spider-Verse. We also have Mark Platt Productions. Keep your heads turned to the left and look in the background at this sort of gap in the bungalows. You might see a balloon with Glinda and Elphaba. That is Mark Platt Productions, responsible for the upcoming two-part Wicked cinematic experience. The first part is hitting theaters later this year in November. And Bungalow 5195 might have a familiar silhouette next to it. That was once Alfred Hitchcock's bungalow.
I'd like to tell you about Universal Studios Tour. They have sets, stuntmen, action, special events, you meet the strangest people on the tour.
Thank you, Alfred. And right now we are passing on the left stages 25 and 26. These are home to Lopez versus Lopez, starring George Lopez and real-life daughter Mayan Lopez. And in particular, soundstage 26 is also currently home to our brand new NBC comedy St. Denis Medical, starring David Allen Greer, Wendy McClendon-Covey, and Allison Tolman. You can check all that out on NBC. But right now we are making the transition from the front lot into the back lot. And to tell you a little bit more, here is our MC, Jimmy Fallon.
We're about to cross the imaginary boundary onto the back lot, where we have exterior set for many outdoor scenes. Over the last 60 years, studio tour guests have seen these locations turned into big cities, quiet center. Even that guy's hometown. Yeah, that guy. For countless movies and TV shows, this is Universal's Metro sets.
So like Jimmy said, the first place I'm taking you in our back lot is our Metropolitan sets. And on your right-hand side, you're looking at our Brownstone Street, which you might recognize from Bruce Almighty, starring Jim Carrey. There's a great scene in that movie that takes place right here on our Brownstone Street. And one of our most recognizable and popular exterior sets on the back lot is, of course, Courthouse Square. And we are about to enter Courthouse Square, but before we do, I'm going to invite Leah Thompson and Bob Gale to tell you a little bit more.
Welcome to the Courthouse Square. These sets were used to create Hill Valley in the Back to the Future films.
And they represent a multiple time periods, 1985, 1955, and the far, far distant future, 2015. To this day, this is one of the most popular sets on the Universal Studio Tour.
We had a lot of fun making those films here on the lot. I wonder what it'd be like to go back to those days. If only we had a time machine.
Hey, everybody, you think we can get this tram up to 88 miles per hour? See you in the future.
Get your cameras out and turn your heads to the left-hand side because we are entering Courthouse Square, which of course you might know better as Hill Valley from the Back to the Future trilogy, directed by Robert Zemeckis and starring Michael J. Fox, Leah Thompson, and Christopher Lloyd. And look who we have here, a special guest. It's Doc Brown.
He's not stopping there. Stop back there.
He got cut off a little bit.
He might come over there.
He's like trying to get nice shot of the top.
He's way back there. He's coming over here.
Sorry.
Thank you, Doc. We don't want to disrupt the space-time continuum any longer, so why don't we let Doc get back to his experiments and move on to another part of our Metro sets. Now, here in Courthouse Square, many of these sets have been standing since the 1940s, but we are about to turn left onto New York Street, and a lot of the sets on New York Street have only been here since 2008. They were rebuilt and reimagined in 2008, but before that, this area was home to a studio tour classic.
And some action. Did you know the Metro sets were once the home to Hollywood's biggest star? Right here is where the original studio tour King Kong attraction resided from 1986 until 2008. He stood 30 feet tall and weighed in at 13,000 pounds. Over the years, millions of guests got to meet King Kong face to face. He shook the tram so close he could be on banana bread. That's my last line. The tram moves on to the next thing.
It sure does, and we are nearing the end of New York Street, but this has not only been New York Street. The great thing about our exterior sets is they all kind of act like a blank canvas for production crews and set designers to come in and dress them up however a script requires. So we call it New York Street, but it's also been London and Fast and the Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw, Chicago for the Blues Brothers. We even use it to film our NBC competition show American Ninja Warrior. But we're going to leave our concrete jungle behind and head into the jungles of Skull Island to tell you a little bit more about his 2005 film King Kong. Here is director Peter Jackson.
I like films that just take you away before real life and sweep you up in the bench. And Kong literally does it. You're on board the ship, you're sailing to Lost Island, you're encountering monsters and creatures from prehistoric times. So I was thrilled when Universal invited me back to Skull Island, and it was great to have you along for the ride. Now we have created this 3D immersive experience, so you're going to have to have your glasses.
Now before we head into the jungle, just a reminder to remain seated at all times and secure your belongings. If anything falls off the tram and into the jungle, it will not be safe for me to exit and retrieve it. And I want to make sure that you stay safe. 3D. How's everyone feeling right now? Pretty good. I got a woo in the front car. That's a good sign. Okay, I'm seeing some thumbs up. Great. Looks like everyone's in one piece. Now that is one of my favorite attractions in the entire theme park. I think the scale of those screens, the quality of the CGI is totally mind-blowing to me. And those are some of the largest screens that you're going to see in all of Hollywood, standing at 40 feet tall and 180 feet wide. And the special effects is all thanks to Weta FX. If you're not familiar with Weta FX, I know that you'll be familiar with their work. Weta FX is a New Zealand-based post-production company founded by director Peter Jackson, and they're the recipients of 7 Academy Awards for their work on such films as King Kong, War for the Planet of the Apes, The Lord of the Rings, and Hobbit trilogies, as well as most recently Avatar: The Way of Water from director James Cameron.
With a project like a studio tour, the audience is in the middle of the environment. They're looking in all directions. There's creatures coming at them. They're seeing Kong from this side and T-Rexes from the other side.
Working on a movie, we always know people are looking straight ahead. They're looking at the shot that we're working on.
Here you have to take into account that people are looking in all directions.
Also, one of the things about this ride, unlike the movies that we're used to working on, there's no cuts. Because it's one giant shot. This tram that's driving along through Skull Island is where the camera's from.
This ring represents where the screen is 10 meters away.
We're really creating about 50 minutes of a feature film. That amount of visual information, that number of pixels, because it is really a hell of a run.
So right now we are driving behind our metropolitan sets where we were before we went into the jungles of Skull Island, and you'll be able to catch another glimpse of the med as we're making our way past this kind of plain tan wall over here. But I just want to talk a little bit more about our exterior sets here on the back lot. We have 2 kinds of sets. The first one is called the facade, which is a French word meaning front, and the second one is a practical set. Now, oftentimes we only need to build as much as the camera can see, and we use our exterior sets to film our characters whenever we need them to be outside. But as I said before, we do 80 to 90% of our filming inside of sound stages because we have control over the elements, so we prefer to film in sound stages as much as possible. So oftentimes we'll build these facades like the ones that you are seeing in our Metro sets, where all you need to see is those fronts and sides, and then if the characters need to go inside, then we build out those sets on sound stages, and then with the power of editing, we're able to splice it all together to make it look like the character went outside to inside seamlessly, and instead maybe they actually went from our Metro sets into sound stages like the ones that you see on the left-hand side. Now our second type of set, as I mentioned, a practical set, you actually can film both on the inside and on the outside, but those are a little bit more rare here on our back lot. Now these sound stages that I pointed out are some of our newest sound stages, and 30 and 31 in particular are home to the NBC singing competition The Voice, starring coaches Reba McEntire, John Legend, Dan and Shay, and Chance the Rapper. And then in the foreground, this body of water that you see here is called the Hollywood Ocean. And this is very important to our studio tour because here in 1974, we added the parting of the Red Sea to the studio tour, which was inspired by the classic film The Ten Commandments, a Paramount picture directed by Cecil B. DeMille. The star of the movie, Charlton Heston, made an appearance to part the waters for our guests, and then our Glamour Tram seemed to drive right through the lake and give everyone on board a sea-level view.
This tram is overloaded. Celebrate the walk on water as a part of the tour.
Now we also transformed our Hollywood Ocean into the Amazon River from the creature from the Black Lagoon, which, by the way, is celebrating its 70th anniversary this year. And if you know anything about Universal Studios, you know that we love our monster movies. We are the home of the monster movie, and in particular, we are heading into Little Europe, which is where it all began. But it might look a little more like the afterlife to you. From the mind of Mike Schur and starring Kristen Bell and Ted Danson. Congratulations,
like when we get to the
folks.
familiar
You're in a good place.
Like the
Elevator shows from Undead.
I've never ever seen this. You're in the good place.
I'm not supposed to be here. Can't risk going to the bad place.
Maybe it's not all that bad.
How can I help you?
What is the bad place?
celebrated the 100-year anniversary of The Hunchback of Notre Dame, and here at Universal Studios, we love to celebrate an anniversary, and we are really one of the only studios in all of Los Angeles that can say that we are celebrating a feature-length 100-year-old film. And upon its release in 1923, The Hunchback of Notre Dame ran 3.5 hours long in theaters. And I know what you're thinking, that is a lot of silent film, but here's the thing. Before 1923, all of our movies were much shorter than that, only about 10 to 20 minutes long, and I'll talk about that a little bit more later when we pass through our Western sets. So when audiences sat down and were presented with this 3.5-hour moving picture, they were absolutely astonished and so excited, and the movie became known as the Universal Super Jewel because it really set the bar and the standard for cinema to come. And I mentioned that it stars Lon Chaney, who is known as the Man of 1,000 Faces because he played a lot of monsters in his career, and he liked to do his own makeup. And if you've seen him in The Hunchback or in the 1925 production of The Phantom of the Opera, you know he's pretty good at what he does. He's very, very scary and convincing. So check those out if you want to do a deep dive on the history of Universal Monsters. And very quickly, we are about halfway through our tour, so a quick reminder to remain seated at all times and pull that emergency cord if you need my attention. Now, halfway point feels like a good time for a little break, and I wanted to take you to one of my favorite vacation destinations, Amity Island. Welcome to Amity, where every day is like 4th of July. Amity, as you know, was a popular New England resort town until they were terrorized by a great white shark. But here's the thing, Mayor Vaughn wants you to know that these beaches are perfectly safe and they will be open for the summer season. So kick back and relax, folks. That's why you came to Universal Studios today. Oh, that's my pal George. He's one of those professionals in the water making sure everything is safe for you. So don't worry. Thanks for keeping us safe, George. George. Blink twice if you need help, George. Oh gosh. Oh no. Oh, I'm so sorry you had to see that. Okay, don't panic. I'm not panicking. We're gonna make our way to safety across this bridge, and it looks like George set a trap for the shark. There's a barrel full of bait, and if the shark takes the bait, maybe he'll forget we're here, right? That's a good plan. Right? Oh gosh. Oh, he's so strong. Oh no. Oh. Oh no. Spielberg, who was called Bruce after Spielberg's real and current lawyer, Bruce Raymer, because what is scarier than a shark? A Hollywood lawyer, of course, you knew that. And if you've seen Disney Pixar's Finding Nemo, you'd also know that the shark in that movie is named Bruce. That was an homage to Steven Spielberg's Jaws. But as we head out of Amity and into our Old Mexico area of the lot, I'm going to be showing you a little weather demonstration so you can understand how we simulate weather on our film and TV sets. And here to introduce our Thunder and Lightning Storm is Today Show co-host and weather anchor, Al Roker.
Time for my favorite part of the tour, weather. When it comes to film and TV, it is truly a special effect. In fact, to demonstrate how weather effects are created, we debuted our first major attraction here on the studio tour way back in 1968. Welcome to the only part of the back lot with a 100% chance of rain. The flash flood.
Thank you, Al. So our Thunder and Lightning Storm demonstration is underway. Now, normally we layer thunder and lightning in post-production, but of course we're doing it live here, and then that water is being shot directly up into the sky out of glorified sprinklers that we call rain towers here on our sets. And there is that titular flash flood. Just like Al said, this flash flood was built in 1968 and has lived a very long life. You might recognize it from Lady Gaga's music video Judas, or from Big Fat Liar starring Paul Giamatti, Frankie Muniz, and Amanda Bynes. You might also recognize this area of Old Mexico from Nacho Libre starring Jack Black. And we turned this area into Peru for Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull starring Harrison Ford. And now we are exiting Old Mexico and heading into 6 Points, home to our Western sets. Up on your screens, a selection of some of the mega Western stars that have walked these very streets. Now these are our oldest sets here on the lot. And on your left-hand side, you're looking at a saloon with blue trim. That was most recently used in Quentin Tarantino's 9th film, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, starring Leonardo DiCaprio, Margot Robbie, and Brad Pitt, who won an Academy Award for his work in the film. And Western films are a very, very important part of Universal's history. In our first year, from 1914 to 1915, we made over 200 Western films. Now, as I was saying before, when I was talking about The Hunchback of Notre Dame, our films in that first year were only about 10 to 20 minutes long, or 1 to 2 reels of film long. But still, 200 films in 1 year of any genre is quite an impressive feat. And the reason we were able to do that, I mentioned that this area is called 6 Points, and that's because in the era of silent film, this area actually had 6 streets that intersected, kind of like the spokes of a wheel, and on each of those 6 streets we could film a different silent film simultaneously. Now, silent films used to be filmed on these kind of open-air stages that look like outdoor theater stages, and we didn't have to worry about sound traveling from one street to another, from one production to another, because ultimately the movies were going to be silent. So it didn't matter, and we could crank out 200 Western films in 1 year. So that's how we were able to do it over there in our Western sets. And we still call it 6 Points, obviously, to honor that legacy of Western films here at Universal Studios. Now, as we make this right onto Steven Spielberg Drive, as you see that sign on your right-hand side, I'd love to point that out because Steven Spielberg obviously is an incredibly important director to us here at Universal Studios. I'm going to be mentioning his name a lot from here on out, and you can imagine why. He got his start here at Universal Studios, and he's an incredibly prolific director, of course. If you're not familiar with Spielberg, or if you want to hear a little bit more about how he got his start, check out your screens. I'll let him tell you. Marveling at Steven Spielberg's impressive resume, we are headed into our residential area of the lot. Now, we call it that because we have all of our set houses here, including the ones on your left-hand side that you're seeing, that tan house with a green roof. That was Boo Radley's house in To Kill a Mockingbird, the 1962 production starring Gregory Peck and Robert Duvall. And on the right side, you're looking at our chicken ranch that was built inside of Soundstage 12 for the 1982 production of The Best Little Courthouse in Texas, starring Dolly Parton. At the time of production, that house actually opened up on hinges, kind of like a dollhouse, for all of the musical numbers in the movie, including Dolly's version of I Will Always Love You. And on your left, catch a glimpse of our Colonial Street. Now, we're not going to be going down Colonial Street because we have some production happening on Colonial Street today. However, you might recognize Colonial Street better as Wisteria Lane from Desperate Housewives. It was also home to the Munsters. 1313 Mockingbird Lane is down on Colonial Street. It's also home to Davy from Never Have I Ever, starring by Tracy Ramakrishnan and created by Mindy Kaling. And on the left, you're looking at some props, the Lion Estates props. Now, you might remember the Lion Estates as the place where Marty McFly and his family lived in the Back to the Future trilogy. And the motto of the Lion Estates was "Live in the homes of tomorrow, today," very fitting, giving the futuristic themes of Back to the Future. And those props in particular are replicas of the original props, and they were made for the 30th anniversary of the film. Now, as we continue to head up Steven Spielberg Drive, we are in our wilderness area of the lot. This is over 40 acres of undeveloped land here at Universal Studios, and we are the only studio in Los Angeles that have this much undeveloped land. And we use it for wilderness scenes, of course, in some of our movies and our TV shows. For example, you can see our wilderness area used in Bird Box, starring Sandra Bullock on Netflix. You can also see it in a scene in Never Have I Ever, starring Maitreyi Ramakrishnan, where the characters actually get stranded in the wilderness on prom night. That happened right here in our wilderness area, just a few feet away from Davy's house on Colonial Street. And like I said, Wilderness Road is right here, and the reason that we use this instead of going out into the wilderness, like the actual wilderness, is because we have control over all of the elements. That's kind of the answer to the why here on the back lot. We love to have control over the elements. And here in our wilderness area, we have access to bathrooms and self-service and electricity, all these types of things that we wouldn't have access to in the wilderness. So that's why we filmed here on our back lot. And of course, we are nearing the end of Steven Spielberg Drive, who, by the way, he was an executive producer on Back to the Future, which is part of the reason we have those Lion Estates props sitting on Steven Spielberg Drive. But here at the end of the street, we have one of our largest exterior sets here on the lot. This is the set of the 2005 film War of the Worlds, directed by Steven Spielberg and starring Tom Cruise. Attention to detail and the production value of this film. And speaking of great directors, we've got, of course, lots of sets from Alfred Hitchcock's films, including on the right-hand side, the Psycho House from his 1960 film Psycho. And this Psycho House and the Bates Motel on the left-hand side and down the hill are some of the most historic sets standing in all of Hollywood, and they've been here on the studio tour since its opening in 1964. And the Psycho House might look a little different to you than you remember. It was built on a 3/4 scale, and using a technique called forced perspective, we were able to make Norman Bates look larger and more menacing than he would have in real life. And as we make our way down this hill, take a look to your right-hand side. We've got our very own official scale replica of the Hollywood sign. Get out those cameras and take those pictures. And you'll be able to get out and take more pictures of the Hollywood sign at our upcoming stop at the Prop Plaza. Now, for the first few decades of the studio tour, one of our hallmarks was a visit to Prop Plaza, where guests got to disembark for a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and we're bringing that back for our 60th anniversary. Now remember, this is a limited stop, and when you're ready to continue your tour, simply follow the signs. You will be boarding a different tram with a brand new studio guide, so please remember to gather all of your personal belongings and your 3D glasses. Once again, if you are disembarking, gather all of your personal belongings and your 3D glasses. You will need all of that when you resume the tour. Now, as you disembark, please make your way toward the front of the tram and have some fun, everyone. Take some great pictures and enjoy your time at our new and improved Prop Plaza. Bye! Thanks for coming.
shut it off. Okay, I'm going to show you guys what all of this is. So we have a tram in the hotel. We're just going to walk around here. There's a lot of people here. And let's see. So when I was little, we had the original tour stopped at the Prop Plaza, and it was down at the bottom where the Mummy is now. And there was a Lucille Ball dressing room and a lot of props from the Incredible Shrinking Women. And there was chairs, like huge chairs, and all kinds of huge props from that. That's what I remember. A huge telephone and a bunch of huge props. So, and I don't remember how old I was. I was pretty little. But here, this is one of the things that I wanted to see, because this, when I saw this on online, this is what reminded me of all the big things that I used to remember. And I thought that they were huge because I was little. I was probably like, I don't know, maybe 8. So here's a huge prop basket, shopping basket. What are these from? Friend to All, A Man's Journey. So these are all props from movies. Eric's Big Adventure. I don't know what these are from. These movies. Taylor for Taylor. Call Me Colleen. It's All Up to Camber. These must be really old movies. You guys, does anybody recognize these? Because I don't recognize these. Luna Landing. Okay. Mailboxes. Okay. Okay, look at that. Isn't that cool? Such a cool picture. Look at that. Really cool. Okay, here is the Bates Hotel. There we go. There we go. How cool is this? Here we go. See, we could do this during HHN when we come. We can walk through here. And here is the Glamour Tram. Right here. Okay, the Glamour Tram, you guys. Isn't that cool? The original tram. How cool is that? Didn't fit many people, but it was really cool, and I actually remember being in this tram. Not this particular one, but one of these trams. I've been coming here since the very early 70s. How cool is that? And I remember coming here and thinking, this is what I want to do. I wanted to sit right there in that seat and be a tram tour guide. I wanted to do that because I thought it was the funnest thing. That was a very, very cool job. What a cool job to do that. Okay, so there is a scene where you can picture yourself over there with the Fast and Furious cars. And then there is a scene over here with King Kong, and I will be showing a picture with me. Hopefully, I can wait in line for this. So there is King Kong's paw right there.
Oh, that'd be one more thing.
Hey, there's his paw. There he is. Okay. Okay, so next we are going to do the shark. I don't think we're going to stand. Do you want to do Fast and Furious?
No.
No? Okay, let's do the shark.
We'll do the shark.
I don't think there's as big of a line, is there?
That's what the car. Yeah, this is big.
Oh.
Oops.
Okay, so we are waiting in line for this right here. This used to be in the main walkway coming into the park back in the 70s and in the 80s, and I believe in the early 90s is when they got rid of this. So people used to jokingly put their kids in the mouth of the shark. I don't remember when they got rid of this, but it was right in the walkway as you walked into the park. It was really cool. So we're gonna take our picture. We've been waiting in line. I don't know where he's been. Okay, we are back on the tram tour. So there are all the people over there. So this is the 60th anniversary preview, you guys. That is the line. I just want to show you a little bit of what we just waited in over there.
All right.
So this is the pass holder preview. I'm not real sure how this is going to work once this opens. I think it opens on Friday, if I'm not mistaken, Friday or Saturday. This is going to be a mess. Just my opinion, mine and my husband's opinion. This is going to be a mess. Pass holder preview, and the lines are long, except not long for the tram. So I'm going to be really curious as to how this works out when it's open to the public. Because in my opinion, this is really a mess right now. And it's just pass holders. So we shall see. Nobody's in line for the tram. Everybody is in line for all of the photo opportunities, which are really cool. But they really need to limit the amount of trams that are coming. I really like what they did, but the amount of people and the amount of lines. We've been down here for probably over an hour and a half just standing in lines, which is really hard for me to do. And we talked to some other people that are also disabled and standing. They have trouble standing like me. Also have trouble. So we'll see how it works. So now we're on the second half of the tour.
And he wants to tell you a little bit about.
And let's see where they bring us and what they do for the 60th anniversary.
I remember at the Universal Studios when I was 12 years old, feeling this feeling of wonder. One of my first trips at Universal Studios, seeing the Jaws ride. One of my favorite movies of all time. Just feeling like, that's him. That's the Jaws. But I don't even know if that is the Jaws. I hope it is. Sharing the space with Hitchcock and Spielberg, couldn't be more proud.
I didn't film a lot of that, you guys, because it was a lot of waiting. So, yeah, that's why I didn't film it.
And right now, we're going to go visit Jordan Peele's Nope set. This is the actual set from the movie.
Magic only happens when a team of collaborators, often in the hundreds, work together to take the impossible through.
This is one of the newer parts of the tour.
Nostalgic, small time.
This opened just last year.
Amusement park owned by former child star Ricky G. Park. Over there, look into the winking lamp and have your picture taken just like the kids in that old 90s movie Kid Share. That's what this whole place is loosely based on. Remember that one? No? A little further down, you can see the brand new Star Lasso experience.
built to showcase an unbelievable new live show. It's not looking so live anymore. Anyway, behind this Hollywood fantasy, overbrush frontier, lies a sinister secret. It is smack dab in the center.
This is the actual set of the movie Nope.
Welcome to the world of no.
So right now we're headed towards the part of the studio where once had an attraction called the Doom Glacier Expedition, better known as the Ice Tunnel. Featured in an episode of The $6 Million Man starring Lee Majors with Andre the Giant as Bigfoot, the tram would climb to an imaginary elevation of 12,000 feet. The only way back to the theme park was through the ice tunnel, where the slightest sound could trigger an avalanche. And it always did, causing the walls to spin and guests to tilt along with the Hollywood special effect. And from tilting to drifting, everybody, we are gonna go be in a Fast and Furious movie. Now you're gonna need your 3D glasses. You don't need them yet. I do love the enthusiasm though, but get them ready. I'll let you know when to put them on. Now, we're all about to become Hollywood starlets, which means our lives are about to change, okay? I'm talking red carpet events all the time, free jewelry, people following us to take our pictures. So say goodbye to your old life and get ready for stardom. But there is important rules during stardom, and they start with, please stay seated. Keep your arms and legs inside the vehicle at all times, and hold on to your belongings. If you are planning to do any photography while you're in the attraction, please make sure to keep your flash off out of respect to the people around you.
This is what we're doing. This is the race day after party. And what other?
Roman Pierce, FBI, don't move.
Neil?
That's right, party's over.
You know how long I took to iron this shirt, man? I'm not.
You're under arrest right now.
Ladies, just back up a little bit. Got it. It's lightweight. First of all, I don't work for you.
Oh, really? Well, tell me, Roman, who do you work for?
We don't work for nobody. Cop, I suggest you clear out of here, otherwise we can't guarantee your safety.
Guarantee my safety? I'm the one holding the gun.
Yeah, but mine's a whole lot bigger than yours.
Hobbs, escort this novice out.
Let's go, Cookie Puss. Got an ugly suit on, man. It's cheap.
Somebody out there really pissed off Shaw. It's gonna get ugly fast.
Yeah, don't worry. Lucky for you, our whole family will protect you.
Are you kidding me, Roman? You didn't shut off your phone, bro?
I gotta call you back. I'm in the middle of
See what I'm talking about?
Call you back.
Oh, man.
It was on vibrate.
Sean traced us. Hobbs can't hold him forever. Letty, Roman, we're up. trying to move that vehicle.
It's about to get real interesting. My Mona Lisa's all warmed up right next door.
Roman, grab your truck. I need you and Letty ready to roll.
Which one of you is the witness? Speak now or you all get fried!
This is our turn.
After them!
Okay, guys, it's showtime. Cover the left. This thing ain't moving fast enough. Roman, Letty, hook him up. Now we're moving.
God, look out! You can be the witness to another one. We call it a day. The witness is mine, Letty.
How about you eat asphalt?
Don't think you're getting away. Call in the drones.
Way to go, Letty.
Drones landed at the missile shot.
Not gonna happen. Don't worry, I got this.
Roman, don't shoot. Head on the bridge. Under construction. Everybody hold on.
Hit the nitrous. Ride or die.
Over the past 6 decades, the studio tour has taken guests on an amazing behind-the-scenes look at a movie in a way that only Universal does. I hope that you had a great time today, and on behalf of everyone at NBC Universal, thank you for joining us to celebrate our diamond anniversary. Here's to another 60 years.
Huh? Yes, Jimmy, here is to another 60 years. I want to thank everyone for celebrating the 60 years of the studio tour with us. The studio tour is where it all began for Universal destinations and experiences. From 2 Glamour trams traveling around the studio lot in the summer of 1964, we have developed into so much more, including 7 parks entertaining millions of guests every year, and the upcoming Universal Epic Universe opening in 2025. I'd also like to acknowledge all the studio tour ambassadors, drivers, and studio guides throughout our history who have helped make the studio tour world famous. From our very first 4 guides and drivers to the hundreds of team members who support the tour today. And to our past members, thank you so much for being with us today. If you're not a past member, you can head to the Universal box office to see how you can upgrade today's ticket to an annual pass so you can come back again and again. And make sure you've downloaded the Universal Studios Hollywood app, where you'll find information including today's park hours, wait times, mobile food orderings, and so much more. And to purchase any of the NBC Universal movies and TV shows you've seen on the tour, visit uphe.com or ask any of the retail stores. And on behalf of our amazing driver, Anthony, how about a nice round of applause for Anthony, the heartbeat of the tour, and myself, Brian, and everyone here at Universal Studios Hollywood. We hope you've enjoyed this exclusive behind-the-scenes experience that's been 60 years in the making. And as we say here in Hollywood, that's a wrap. And as we arrive back to the theme park, be sure to stop by the Simpsons ride, which is open tonight as part of our annual pass preview. Wait times are typically pretty low, so be sure to check out the Simpsons ride before you head home tonight. And thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure having you on my tram today. I hope you enjoy the rest of your night here. You guys have been amazing.
So that's all that we missed, though. That and the
all right, everybody.
all the houses. So
You get
I will
home,
be bringing
check out
you
all
guys
these
back and
pictures
showing
you
you guys
took.
Earthquake, I promise.
Being eaten by the
since
shark.
they renovated it.
Being
I wanna say it
grabbed
too.
by King
Thank
Kong.
you for being here with us. And,
Driving in one of the Fast and Furious
hope you enjoyed
cars.
this, and leave me some
Did
comments.
anybody get to meet
If you've
Norman
been
at the
on
base motel?
the
You
tour,
did?
let me know.
Yes, right on. Did he stab you? Right on. That's great. You're so lucky.
Let me know what you thought of the tour. And,
All right, the door's going to
comment
open in
below.
just a moment. When they do,
Have a
please watch your arms and legs.